Hey guys, welcome back to Thoughts If It Were You by Gentrics. Food for thought. Well, last time we covered emotional intelligence, and we even covered the social skills required. So we're going to talk about one of those social skills today. Enjoy the jazzy music in the background as well. We're going to cover self-awareness. Self-awareness is one of the key components of emotional intelligence. Okay? Daniel Goleman, the guru of emotional intelligence, identified self-awareness as being made up of emotional awareness, accurate self-assessment, and self-confidence. In other words, it's all about knowing your emotions and your personal strengths and weaknesses and having a strong sense of worth. People who lack awareness find living a truly happy and productive life very difficult. This can be difficult to overcome, as many societies and cultures encourage us to ignore our feelings and emotions. Keep calm and carry on. Examples of this include people who stay in jobs that they find unfulfilling or make them unhappy, or in relationships in which they are not comfortable in at all. The emotional awareness. It's the ability to recognize your own emotions and their effects. People who have this ability know what emotions they are feeling at any given time, and why. They understand the links between their emotions and their thoughts, actions, and including what they say. They understand how their feelings will therefore affect their performance, and be guided in how they feel by their personal values. Be aware of your own emotions and how they affect your behavior. It is crucial to effective interaction with others, but it can also be crucial to your personal health and well-being. Keep that in mind as well. Living without emotional awareness can be kind of difficult. Some people find ways to mask their emotions rather than listening to them. Addiction to certain behaviors is often linked to emotional masking. These include excessive drinking and/or eating, overworking, computer games, gambling, exercises, or any other activities that effectively distract the mind from what's actually happening. Hey guys, welcome back. Now personally, I'm not a fan of elevator music, but who can argue with good jazz music? Anyway, people can find self-analysis of their emotions difficult, especially if they have suppressed them for a long time. It may be hard for people to accurately recognize their emotions and even more difficult to understand why they're feeling them. However, self-analysis is a vital skill to learn and develop for good emotional intelligence. A good starting point is to be aware of your values, which can also be thought of as your personal moral compass. For more about that, check out the podcast I did on your moral compass. These values have an emotional value piece, which therefore means that many emotional responses come from some action or event that touches on those values. If you're aware of your values, you can quickly see why you may have had a particularly emotional reaction to an event or person. Most importantly, you can then take action to address the issue with a better understanding of the problem. An accurate self-assessment is usually required. Understanding your own and others' emotions also requires a good understanding of your personal strengths, weaknesses, inner resources, and perhaps most importantly, your limits. It can be particularly hard to admit to weaknesses and limits, especially if you are in a competitive and fast-moving work environment. But it is crucial for emotional intelligence and your own well-being. People who are good at self-assessment generally not only have a good understanding of their strengths and weaknesses, but they show a good sense of humor about themselves and their limitations. They're usually very reflective and learn from experience, and also open to feedback. But be warned, there are blind spots. Alright, let's cover those blind spots. It can be very hard to admit to weaknesses, and many people may well be in a state of denial that they even have it, especially for those in senior positions. It can also be hard to get genuine constructive feedback. This is a result. This result in blind spots, problem areas which are completely invisible to the person concerned. Common blind spots identified in a study of senior executives include the following. Setting unrealistic goals for oneself or the organization, and having an unrealistic idea of how easily tasks can be accomplished. Blind ambition, where the person has to be right all the time, and relentless hard work, working long hours and being at risk of burnout as well as a result. These blind spots can make people very resistant to feedback, which makes it even harder to overcome the problem. The solution? Get into a habit of seeking regular, honest feedback from those around you, and then act on it. This is very prominent, especially in young males who play sports, or young women in general, as everyone always wants to be right, and they never want to have that feeling that they're wrong. But sometimes that's what you need. Next, work on your self-confidence. The final area of self-awareness is self-confidence, having a strong sense of your own self-worth and not relying on others for your evaluation of yourself. People with good self-confidence are generally able to present themselves well and are often described as charismatic, as I mentioned before. Preparing to voice unpopular opinions and not always go with the flow. And then they're generally decisive, being able to make good decisions grounded in their own values. Self-confidence is absolutely vital for job performance. Without the ability to tell it like it is, when necessary, and stand up for unpopular positions, it is very hard to achieve anything, especially during tough times, which is one of the main reasons why I enjoy doing my podcast. In conclusion, with what I was talking about earlier, self-awareness is a crucial part of emotional intelligence. It's no accident that Daniel Goleman, the author of the book Emotional Intelligence, identified it as the first of the 5 competencies that make up the emotional intelligence. But without awareness and understanding of ourselves and a sense of self-rooted in our own values, it is very, very hard, and it's not possible to even be aware of or respond to the emotions of other people. Just keep that in mind. And again, thank you for listening. Enjoy the rest of your day. Gentrics out.